I'm currently going to be dropping content for myself. This has nothing to do with anybody. It's just trying to elevate my mind and see where it takes me. So today we're going to be reading about business and society. When I read this book, I'll be reading it out loud. So let's get into it. And let's see. The book, inside of it, it says, "What would Jesus do?" I didn't write this. I'm going to block out the number that was right here. There's going to be a number up top. I'm going to block it out, but let's get into it. I'm going to act like the camera's not even here. In a world economy that is becoming increasingly interrogated and interdependent, the relationship between business and society is becoming ever more complex. The globalization of business, the emergence of civil society organization in many nations and new governments, regulations, and international agreements have significantly altered the job of managers and the nature of strategic decision-making within the firm. At no time has business faced greater public scrutiny or more urgent demands to act in an ethical and socially responsible manner than at the present. Consider the following: the global financial crisis and its continuing aftermath, highlighted by the failure of major business firms, unprecedented intervention in the economy by many government, major business firms, spotlight on issues of corporate responsibilities and ethics around the world. People and governments are demanding the managers to do a better job of serving shareholders and the public. Once again, policymakers are actively debating the proper scope of government oversight in such wide-ranging arenas as healthcare, financial services, and manufacturing. Management educators are placing renewed emphasis on issues of business leadership and accountability. A host of new technologies has been part of the everyday lives of billions of the world's people. Advances in basic sciences are stimulating extraordinary changes in our agriculture, telecommunications, and pharmaceuticals. Business can grow medicine in plants, embedded nanochips in tennis rackets, and communicate with customers overseas over the internet and wireless networks. Technology has changed how we interact with others, bringing people closer together through social networking, instant messaging, and photo and video sharing. These innovations hold great promise, but they also raise serious ethical issues, such as those associated with genetically modified foods, stem cell research, or use of the internet to exploit or defraud others or to censor free expression. Business must learn to harness new technologies while avoiding public controversy and remaining sensitive to the concerns of their many stakeholders. Business in the United States and other nations are transforming the employment relationship, abandoning practices that once provided job security and guaranteed pensions in favor of highly flexible but less secure forms of employment. The recession that began in the latter part of the first decade of the 21st century caused job losses across broad sectors of the economy in the United States and many other nations. Many jobs, broad sectors of the economy in the United States and many other nations. Many jobs, including those in the service sector, are being outsourced to the emerging economies of China, India, and other nations. As jobs shift abroad, transitional corporations are challenged to address their obligations to workers in far-flung locations with very different cultures and to respond to initiatives like the United Nations Global Compact that call for voluntary commitment to enlighten labor standards and human rights. Ecological and environment problems have forced businesses and governments to take action, and emerging consensus about the risk of climate change, for example, is leading many companies to adopt new practices. And once again, that the nations of the world have experimented with public policies designed to limit the emissions of greenhouse gases. Many businesses have cut air pollution, curbed solid waste, and designed products and buildings to be more energy efficient. A better understanding of how activities affect natural resources. My bad. Hold on, let me try to set this up. Better for y'all. Alright, bet. Activities affect natural resources is producing a growing understanding that economic growth must be achieved in balance with environmental protection if development is to be sustainable. Many regions of the world are developing at an extraordinary rate, yet the prosperity that accompanies economic growth is not shared equally. Personal income, healthcare, and educational opportunity are unevenly distributed among and within the world's nations. The tragic pandemic of AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa and the threat of a swine or avian flu epidemic have compelled drug makers to rethink their pricing policies and raise troubling questions about the commitment of the World Trade Organizations to patent protection. Many businesses must consider the delicate balance between their intellectual property rights and the urgent demands of public health, particularly in the developing world. In many nations, legislators have questioned businesses' influence on politics. Business has a legitimate role to play in the public policy process, but it has on an occasion shaded over into undue influence and even corruption. In the United States, recent court decisions have changed the rules of the game governing how corporations and individuals over into undue influence and even corporation in the United States. Recent court decisions have changed the rules of the game governing how corporations and individuals can contribute to the influence political parties and public officials. Technology offers candidates and political parties new ways to reach out and inform potential voters. Businesses the world over are challenged to determine their legitimate scope of influence and how to voice their interests most effectively in the public policy process. The new 14th edition of Business and Society addresses this complex agenda of issues and their impact on businesses and its stakeholders. It is designed to be the required textbook in the undergraduate or graduate course in business and society, business, government, and society, social issues in the management or the environment of business. It may also be used in the whole or in part in courses in business, ethics, and public affairs management. This new edition of the text is also appropriate for an undergraduate sociology course that focuses on the role of business in society or on contemporary issues in the business. The core argument of the business and society is that corporations serve a broad public purpose to create value for society. All companies must take a profit for their owners, indeed. If they did not, they would not long survive. However, corporations create many other kinds of value as well. They are responsible for professional development for their employees, initiative, new products for their customers, and generosity to their communities. They must partner with a wide range of individuals and groups in society to advance collaborative goals. In our view, corporations have multiple obligations and stakeholders' interests must be taken into account. A tradition of excellence. Since the 1960s, when Professors Keith Davis and Robert Blomstrom wrote the first edition of this book, business and society has maintained a position of leadership by discussing central issues of corporate social performance in a form that students and faculties have found engaging and stimulating. The leadership of two founding authors and later of Professor William C. Frederick and James E. Post helped business and society to achieve a consistently high standard of quality and market acceptance. Thanks to these authors' remarkable eye for the emerging issues that shape the organizational, social, and public policy environments in which students will soon live and work, the book has added value to the business education of many thousands of students. Business and society has continued through several successive author teams to be the market leader in its field. The current authors bring a broad background of business and society research, teaching, consulting, and case development to the ongoing evolution of the text. The new 14th edition of the Business and Society builds on its legacy of the market leadership by re-examining such central issues as the role of business in society, the nature of corporate responsibility and global citizenship, business ethics practices, and the complex roles of the government and society in a global community. For instructors, this textbook offers a complete set of supplements and extensive instructors resource manual, fully revised for this edition. Includes lecture outlines, discussion, case questions and answers, tips from the experienced instructors, and extensive case teaching notes. A computerized test bank and PowerPoint slides for every chapter are also provided to adopters. A video supplement compiled especially for the 14th edition features recent segments from PBS New Hours produced by the Public Broadcasting Service. These videos may be used to supplement class lectures and discussions. Business and Society is designed to easily modularize an instructor who wishes to focus on a particular portion of the material may select individual chapters or cases to be packaged in a Create custom product. Sections of this book can also be packaged with other materials from the extensive Create database, including my bad.